Hello, I'm Justin Raver. I'm the managing partner of Barash Everett here in Kiwani. And we are a law firm that has 8 lawyers and 20 staff, or 18, 16, something like that, staff positions in Galva, Galesburg, and Kiwani. Uh, Primarily, we have paralegal positions and attorney positions at the company, and some title company representatives as well. The to be an attorney requires you to get a bachelor's degree and then go to grad school for a period of 3 years to get a Juris Doctor. And then you could take the bar exam and become a licensed attorney. To become a paralegal in Illinois, you don't even really need to go to college. There are paralegal tracks in college, and that will help you get a higher paid job if that's what you want to do. However, it doesn't necessarily require that level of education because Illinois doesn't have a licensed paralegal program like some other states do. So that said, if somebody's interested in being a paralegal, it's an attractive quality to have a degree, even if it's just an associate's degree, in some type of paralegal studies course. And I look for that type of person, but by no means is that absolutely necessary. The job outlooks for attorneys and paralegals in rural areas like Kiwani is actually very, very good right now. The big cities attract all the lawyers and a lot of the paralegal positions. So there are retiring lawyers in the small communities that aren't being replaced. And a young lawyer could move to a town like Kiwani and very quickly make a name for himself because there's far less competition, and you could be quite successful very quickly. The salaries for paralegals vary. They could be, well, I don't know. They average around 30 for a full-time position, and for a senior position, you get up into maybe 40 or 50 in a small town. Attorneys' salaries generally starting at $50,000 in the private sector, a little bit less than that in public work, such as like state's attorneys and defense attorneys. Then there is no high end. The average in the state of Illinois, I think, is in low $100,000 a year, but because you're in a small community when you're working in areas like Kiwani, it just kind of depends on the success of your practice and how much business you build. But like doctors and other high level professional positions, it's difficult to say a high end salary because there isn't one. There are attorneys that make several $100,000 a year, and there are some who struggle. So it's a difficult business to estimate. But on average, in Illinois, attorneys are making in the $150,000 range as an average, depending on how experienced you are and how long you've been doing it. Let's see here. Uh, to be an attorney or to be a paralegal, you have to have similar skills. I look for people who are very good at reading, have strong writing ability, and analytical thinking ability. That's a big one for being an attorney. When you go to law school, they teach you how to think and how to research more than they teach you how to practice law. Because if you know how to think and you know how to research, you can figure out the business of law. So, strong analytical skills, strong problem solving, flexibility, and improvisation. Those skills are very important. Thinking outside the box, because the crux of this job is that you solve problems for people that are too big for them to solve themselves. So you're talking to people on having very stressful problems, and you have to solve those problems. And the skills that we're trained with are to analyze, determine what that solution would be, and then implement it. And that requires flexibility because if anybody faced with these problems without the training that we have would have the same problem in that they couldn't figure out how to fix it, right? Because the problems we deal with are the hardest problems that people face. You also have to have some good emotional intelligence. You have to be able to sympathize and empathize with people because you're going to be dealing people that are having the worst time in their life at certain moments. I deal with estates and probate. So I deal with families who have just lost loved ones. So you have to know how to navigate that highly charged emotional environment, diffuse situations, and get to the crux of a case so that you could help people. And oftentimes that requires you to have a thick skin because you are going to be dealing with emotionally charged people, like I said. And sometimes they could be upset and rather rude. So you have to be able to let that wash off your back. To be a paralegal, I look for strong reading skills and strong writing skills. You don't have to be an author, you don't have to be a genius, but you have to have good grammar, the ability to write to create a document with as little error as you possibly can. That way, well, the reasoning behind it is every lawyers charge well, not by the minute. I almost said by the minute. They charge by the hour, and sometimes by the minute. But so we sell our time. So if a paralegal position or even a lawyer is a sloppy writer, it takes longer to produce a document. If it takes longer to produce a document than it reasonably should, I can't charge a client for that extra time. So the quicker and cleaner a copy is, the quicker it's produced, and the more profit is generated from the transaction. And it also keeps the price down because attorneys are expensive. So clarity and lack of typos, good grammar, and good writing ability is the most important thing. And the successful paralegals who work for me are all very good at improvising and adapting documents on the fly based on historical documents that we have and anticipating the needs of a lawyer. Because sometimes, often we deal with cases that are very similar to other cases, and we can draw on paperwork and documents created in a prior case in furtherance of the new case, so we don't have to reinvent the wheel. A very good legal assistant will remember the prior case that's similar to this case and will just adapt the documents moving forward. So that's who I look for. And age doesn't matter. Education, it's good to have a good educational background, but it's not the end of the world if you don't, if you're talented in the ways I've described. It's just that the paralegal field and through college teaches you those skills, so it makes it easier to learn. All right, so I don't know what else. What else should we talk about? What else do you want people to know?
Can anyone reach out to you if they're interested and want some more information?
Mm-hmm. Yep. The problem we face is that if I need a paralegal position, they could come and talk to me. I don't know what availability that it has, but from time to time it pops up. What I really need is lawyers. And unfortunately, you guys are high school students, so even if you started today, you're 7 years away. So go ahead and get started because I need you guys.